You open the app again. Fingers hover over a name that no longer answers. The screen glows, but it's empty. You know this, yet you scroll, searching for a trace of what was. Pain pulls silently, not loud, not sharp, but heavy. It's the weight of checking one more time, knowing nothing changes. Each tap, a loop you can't break. What do you seek? In a void that offers no reply. You think closure lies in their words, their reasons. But what if the answer was never theirs to give? You chase ghosts in notifications. But ghosts don't speak. The need to know. It's not truth. It's a trap. Each check carves deeper. Not into them, but into you. The habit builds a cage, not a bridge. You lose no one else, only your own stillness. The mind, once clear, now clouds with regret. A fog that doesn't lift. You don't see it, but it's there, eating what you could control. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Marcus Aurelius wrote this, not to comfort, but to cut. The mind, unhooked, stands still, a blade through fog. Pain is not your master. It's noise, unless you let it rule. What holds you when you scroll again? Is it hope, or just a reflex you've trained? You think you're searching, but are you only running? The loop feels safe, familiar, but safety is a lie. You're not finding answers. You're losing ground. The cycle spins until you pause. Why do you explain when no one asked? What does pleading prove? To a mind already gone, is pain your truth, or just a signal you amplify? Why hold words that never reached them? What binds you to a story that isn't yours? Does regret grow because you water it? Can you stop where you always react? Silence waits beyond the noise you make. Cut 1. The chase for closure. You check again. The same message. The same silence. Fingers trace old words as if they'll shift into answers. You chase. Not them, but the why. Why they left. Why it ended. Why you weren't enough. The mind spins, looping through fragments. A half-read text. A glance you misread, a promise that faded. You think understanding will free you. You think their reasons will unhook the weight, but each question pulls tighter, a knot you tie yourself. The cost isn't in their absence. It's in your presence, lost to a cycle you feed. Every revisit steals clarity, not time. You don't see it, but the mind, once sharp, dulls under regret. You're not finding truth. You're building a cage. The need to know, it's not control. It's surrender. You hand your stillness to a void that doesn't care. What need is there to weep over parts of life? The whole of it calls for tears. Seneca wrote this, not to mourn but to wake. Life owes no explanations. Neither do they. The mind that seeks closure, it's a machine stuck on repeat. Break the circuit. Withdraw from the chase. Let the question fall, unanswered. Step back. Don't ask. Don't scroll. Don't replay. The action is simple. Refuse the pull. Their silence is not your truth. It's just noise, unless you amplify it. Turn the screen off. Breathe through the urge. Hold the line where you once begged. Closure isn't found. It's built in the space you choose to leave empty. You don't owe anything. The loop is familiar, but not unbreakable. You've stopped before, only to restart. Cut 2. The weight of regret. A shadow trails you. Not loud, not sharp, but heavy. Regret. It's the chain you drag, forged from choices you can't redo. You replay the moment, the words you didn't say, the ones you did, the chance you missed, the trust you gave. Each thought tightens the links pulling you back to a past that doesn't bend. You think reliving it will lighten the load. You think naming the mistake will dissolve it. But the chain only grows heavier with every loop. The cost is silent, but real. Present slips, stolen by a scene you can't rewrite. You don't notice, but the mind, once free, now anchors to what's gone. Regret doesn't teach, it traps. It's not wisdom, it's weight. You carry it not because it's true, but because it's familiar. The past doesn't hold answers, it holds you. Picture a chain, rusted, stretched across a field. You pull, but it doesn't move. Stoicism cuts the link. The life we lead now is the only one we have. Marcus Aurelius didn't plead. He pointed. The past is not your ground. Release it, not by forgetting, but by naming it done. Let the scene fade, unplayed. Don't revisit, don't rewrite. Step back from the urge to fix what's set. The action is cold. List the error, then let it lie. Regret is a signal, not a sentence. Breathe through the pull. Hold stillness where you once turned back. The chain breaks when you stop pulling. The void is where it clears. A man sits alone, the journal open, pen still. He writes one line. I didn't fail, I learned. Then closes the book. Cut 3. Explaining to be seen, your voice rises. Words spill, trying to make them understand. You explain why you hurt, why you stayed, why you're still here. Each sentence, a plea to be seen. You think clarity will bridge the gap. You think they'll hear, nod, stay. But the more you speak, the less they listen. The urge to justify, it's a reflex, carved deep. You talk, not to heal, but to prove you're not invisible. The cost isn't in their silence, it's in yours. Every word you give steals your own stillness. You don't see it, but the need to be heard builds a cage. Shame grows. Not because they left, but because you begged. You lose no one else, only your own center. The mind, once quiet, now pleads for a glance that never comes. No one is owed your reasons. Seneca's words, not a comfort, but a blade. The world doesn't need your story, nor do they. The urge to explain, it's a loop that binds you to their judgment. Say less. Hold the line. Let their indifference stand unanswered. Don't speak. Don't justify. Withdraw from the need to be understood. The action is stark. Silence where you once poured out. Their gaze is not your truth. It's noise, unless you amplify it. Breathe through the urge. Hold presence where you once chased. Silence rebuilds what words destroy. Silence isn't surrender. Why do I keep talking? To be enough. You already are. Cut 4. The trap of numbness. You shut it down. The ache, the sting, the memory. You suppress, pushing pain below the surface where it can't be seen. The mind goes quiet, not calm, but blank. You think this is control. You think numbness is strength, a way to keep moving, to seem whole. But the weight doesn't vanish. It sinks deeper. Each push builds a wall, not around pain, but around you. The cost is unseen, but heavy. Awareness fades, replaced by a fog you can't name. You don't feel it, but the mind, once clear, now drifts. Numbness isn't peace, it's theft. It steals your ability to see. You don't lose the pain, you lose your ground. The more you bury, the less you stand. There is no easy way from the earth to the stars. Seneca's words, not a promise, but a truth. Pain is not your enemy, nor your truth. Burying it doesn't free you. It binds you. Witness it instead, not to feel, but to know. The mind that sees stays free. Don't hide. Don't erase. Observe the ache without feeding it. The action is cold. Let pain pass through, unclaimed. It's not yours to carry, nor to crush. Breathe through the urge to shut down. Hold conciseness where you once turned off. Seeing rebuilds what numbness breaks. Pain doesn't mean truth. 70% of people suppress emotions daily, only to feel less alive. Cut 5. The pull of old messages. The screen lights up. Your thumb hovers, drawn to a thread long dead. You scroll, not for answers, but for habit. Old words, old promises, old pain. They sit there, unchanged. You check, as if something new will surface, as if rereading will shift the weight. The reflex is quiet, but relentless. You know it's empty, yet you return. Each swipe, a step back into loss. The cost isn't in the words, it's in your presence. Every glance pulls you from now into a past that doesn't serve. You don't see it, but the mind, once centered, frays. Checking doesn't heal, it reopens. It's not connection, it's a loop. You don't gain clarity, you lose stillness. The habit carves deeper, not into truth, but into you. What you seek is not there. Marcus Aurelius saw it, not to soothe, but to sever. The past holds no keys. The messages hold no power unless you give it. Not checking is the cut. Turn off the screen. Let the urge pass, unanswered. Don't open. Don't reread. Disengage from the pull of what's gone. The action is stark. Set the phone down. Breathe through the itch. Their words are not your anchor, nor your chain. Hold awareness where you once scrolled. Detachment rebuilds what habit destroys. Detachment is a form of respect. A woman stares at her phone, then locks it, untouched. The room stays quiet. Cut 6. Avoiding the ache. You turn away from the thought, the memory, the sting. You avoid filling the space with noise work, music, scrolling, anything to keep pain at bay. You think distraction is safety. You think burying the ache keeps you whole. But the pain doesn't sleep. It waits. Each dodge builds a shadow, not over the hurt, but over you. You run, but the ache runs faster. The cost is subtle, but deep. Clarity erodes, replaced by a hum you can't silence. You don't feel it, but the mind, once grounded, drifts. Avoidance isn't freedom. It's a leash. It tethers you to what you flee. You don't escape pain. You lose presence. The more you turn away, the less you see. You must confront what you fear, or it will own you. Epictetus didn't plead, he pointed. Pain is not your captor unless you let it be. Face it, not to fight, but to witness. The mind that looks stays free. Step back from the urge to run. Don't drown it. Don't hide. Sit with it. Let the ache breathe, unclaimed. The action is cold. Pause where you once fled. Pain is not your truth, nor your cage. Breathe through the urge to distract. Hold stillness where you once distracted. Seeing cuts what avoidance binds. Have not doing is power too. Pain is a tide. It rises, but it recedes if you don't wade in. Cut 7. Holding on to prove. You grip tightly to the memory, the hope, the version of you that was. You hold on, as if letting go means losing yourself. Each thought clenches. A name, a moment, a what if. You think this proves strength. You think clinging shows you care, that it keeps you whole. But the tighter you hold, the more you splinter. The weight isn't in the past, it's in your hands. The cost is quiet, but real. Awareness fades, trapped in a loop you won't release. You don't see it, but the mind, once free, binds itself. Holding on doesn't save, it sinks. It's not loyalty, it's loss. You don't keep the past, you lose the present. The more you cling, the less you stand. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca's words, not a bomb, but a blade. What you hold, holds you. Let go, not to forget, but to free. The mind that releases, rebuilds. Drop the weight, not because it's easy, but because it's done. Don't grasp, don't relive. You unhook from the need to keep. The action is stark. Open your hands, let the memory fall. What you hold is not your truth, nor your strength. Breathe through the urge to grip. Hold presence where you once clung. Detachment carves what clinging consumes. Let go isn't weakness. Marcus Aurelius wrote nightly, not to dwell, but to release. What need is there to look back, when now is enough? Cut 8. The spiral of overthinking. Your mind churns, replaying the same scene, the same words, the same wound. You overthink, dissecting every angle, every what if. Why did it happen? What did you miss? Could you have changed it? Each question spins a web you can't escape. You think this will solve the pain. You think unraveling the past will set you free. But the more you think, the deeper you sink. The spiral doesn't end, it tightens. The cost is unseen, but heavy. Clarity dissolves, replaced by a fog of your own making. You don't feel it, but the mind, once sharp, dulls. Overthinking isn't insight. It's a trap. It doesn't answer. It consumes. You don't find truth, you lose ground. The more you analyze, the less you see. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Marcus Aurelius didn't muse, he cut. The mind that spins enslaves itself. Pause the cycle, name the thought, then let it pass. The truth isn't in the spiral, it's in the stillness you avoid. Don't dissect, don't replay. Step back from the urge to solve. The action is cold. Notice the thought, then release it. Pain is not a puzzle, nor a truth to crack. Breathe through the need to know. Hold consciousness where you once unraveled. Stillness clears what thinking clouds. The void is where it clears. 60% of people spend hours daily rethinking past events, only to feel more trapped. Cut 9. Denying the hurt. You shrug it off. The ache, the sting, the quiet weight. You denny, telling yourself it doesn't matter. It's fine. You're fine. You smile, you work, you move, as if pain never landed. You think this is strength. You think ignoring it builds a shield. But the hurt doesn't vanish. It burrows. Each denial adds a layer, not over the pain, but over you. You hide, but the wound grows. The cost is silent, but deep. Awareness phrase, replaced by a mask you can't remove. You don't see it, but the mind, once clear, clouds. Denial isn't power, it's a debt. It doesn't erase, it compounds. You don't outrun pain, you lose presence. The more you pretend, the less you stand. There is nothing more wretched than a mind anxious about the future or denying the present. Seneca's words, not a plea, but a mirror. Pain exists. Denying it doesn't. Witness it. Not to dwell, but to know. The mind that sees stays free. Don't dismiss. Don't pretend. Observe the hurt without feeding it. The action is stark. Name the ache, let it breathe. Pain is not your shame, nor your sentence. Breathe through the urge to hide. Hold stillness where you once denied. Seeing cuts what Daniel buries. Pain doesn't mean truth. A man walks past a mirror, pauses, looks, then moves on. The reflection stays unchanged. Cut 10. Hoping blindly, you wait for a sign, a shift, a return. You hope blindly, pinning your peace on what might be. A message that never comes, a change that never arrives. You tell yourself it's patience, that holding out proves faith. But each moment spent hoping pulls you from now. The mind lingers, tethered to a future that's not yours. You hope, but the weight grows heavier. The cost isn't in the weight, it's in the loss. Presence fades, stolen by a dream you can't control. You don't see it, but the mind, once grounded, drifts. Blind hope isn't strength. It's a chain. It doesn't lift, it binds. You don't gain tomorrow, you lose today. The more you hope, the less you see. What need is there to hope when you can act? Epictetus didn't dream, he built. The future owes you nothing, nor do they. Release the weight, not to despair, but to stand. The mind that acts stays free. Let hope dissolve into what you command now. Don't wish, don't wait. Disengage from the pull of what's not here. The action is cold. Turn from the fantasy. Breathe through the urge. Hope is not your anchor, nor your truth. Hold consciousness where you once waited. Ground rebuilds. What hope erodes. You don't have to react. Why do I keep waiting? For them to see me. You see yourself. That's enough. Cut 11. Suppressing the shame. You push it down. The heat, the sting, the quiet burn. You suppress shame, hiding it behind a steady voice, a forced smile. You tell yourself it's nothing, that you're above it. You think this buries weakness. You think silencing shame proves you're strong. But the burn doesn't fade. It festers. Each push locks it deeper, not away from you, but within you. The cost is unseen, but heavy. Clarity dims, replaced by a weight you can't name. You don't feel it, but the mind, once free, tightens. Shame doesn't shrink, it spreads. It's not control, it's concealment. You don't erase the burn, you lose your center. The more you hide, the less you stand. If you are pained by any external thing, it is not the thing that disturbs you, but your judgment about it. Marcus Aurelius didn't soothe, he sliced. Shame is not your truth. It's a signal. Witness it. Not to wallow, but to know. The mind that sees breaks free. Don't cover. Don't mask. Observe the burn without feeding it. The action is stark. Name the shame. Let it pass. It's not your flaw, nor your chain. Breathe through the urge to hide. Hold presence where you once suppressed. Seeing cuts what shame consumes. Stillness is enough. A woman deletes a post she agonized over. The screen goes dark. She breathes. Cut 12. Chasing their approval. You adjust. Your words, your tone, yourself. You chase their nod, their glance, their validation, each move, a step to prove you're enough. You think their approval will lift the weight. You think their acceptance will silence the doubt. But the more you seek, the less you are. The chase doesn't fill, it hollows. You bend, and the pain grows heavier. The cost is quiet, but deep. Ground slips, replaced by a need you can't quench. You don't see it, But the mind, once steady, sways. Chasing approval isn't freedom, it's a leash. It doesn't raise you, it lowers you. You don't gain their respect, you lose your own. The more you please, the less you see. Your approval lies within. Epictetus didn't plead, he pointed. Their judgment is not your measure, nor your truth. Detach from the need to be seen. The mind that stands alone stands tallest. Let their gaze fall, unanswered. Don't shift, don't seek. Hold the line where you once bent. The action is cold. Speak your truth, not their script. Their nod is not your worth, nor your anchor. Breathe through the urge to please. Hold center where you once chased. Self-command rebuilds what approval steals. You don't owe anything. Seneca wrote to himself, not to win praise, but to find truth. Let others' approval pass. Your own is enough. Cut 13. Replaying rejection. You rewind. The moment they turned away, the words that cut, the door that closed, you replay rejection, searching for your fault. What did you do? What didn't you say? Each loop, a probe for the flaw you think defines you. You believe understanding will soften the sting. You think dissecting their choice will free you. But each replay tightens the wound. Rejection doesn't explain, it consumes. The cost is unseen, but heavy. Presence fades, stolen by a scene you can't rewrite. You don't feel it, but the mind, once clear, clouds. Replaying doesn't heal, it carves. It's not insight, it's a loop. You don't find answers, you lose ground. The more you search, the less you stand. No one can harm you unless you let them. Epictetus didn't soothe, he severed. Their rejection is not your truth, nor your sentence. Witness it, not to judge, but to release. The mind that lets go stays free. Let the scene dissolve, unplayed. Don't revisit, don't dissect. Step back from the urge to blame. The action is stark. See their choice, then let it lie. Rejection is their weight, not yours. Breathe through the need to understand. Hold stillness where you once replayed. Detachment clears what rejection binds. You can end without drama. Pain is a blade, sharp, but it dulls if you don't keep sharpening it. Cut 14. Escaping the ache. You flee from the quiet, the weight, the sting. You escape into noise work, screens, chatter, anything to drown the ache. You think running keeps pain at bay. You think filling the silence shields you. But the ache doesn't fade. It follows. Each distraction builds a wall, not around the pain, but around you. You hide, but the hurt hunts. The cost is subtle, but deep. Awareness erodes, replaced by a hum you can't still. You don't see it, but the mind, once grounded, drifts. Escape isn't freedom. It's a cage. It doesn't lift, it buries. You don't outrun pain. You lose presence. The more you flee, the less you see. What you run from, you carry. Seneca's words, not a warning, but a truth. Pain is not your pursuer, unless you make it so. Sit with it, not to fight, but to know. The mind that stays breaks free. Face the ache, not to conquer, but to pass through. Don't run, don't drown. Pause where you once fled. The action is cold. Let the ache breathe, unclaimed. Pain is not your captor, nor your truth. Breathe through the urge to escape. Hold stillness where you once ran. Ground rebuilds what escape consumes. Stillness is enough. A man shuts his laptop. The room grows quiet. He sits, eyes closed, breathing. Cut 15. Attaching to stay whole. You cling to their memory, their words, their shadow. You attack, as if holding them keeps you intact. Each thought binds a name, a moment, a version of you that felt alive. You think this anchors you. You think staying tied preserves what matters. But the tighter you hold, the more you fray. The bond isn't strength, it's a weight you choose. The cost is quiet, but deep. Ground slips, stolen by a tie you won't cut. You don't feel it, but the mind, once free, tangles. Attachment isn't love, it's loss. It doesn't save you, it sinks you. You don't keep them, you lose yourself. The more you bind, the less you see. Let things go as they go. Marcus Aurelius didn't plead, he pointed. What you hold, holds you. Detach, not to erase, but to stand. The mind that releases, rebuilds. Let their shadow fade, unclaimed. Don't hold, don't bind. You unhook from the need to stay tied. The action is stark. Let the memory pass. Breathe through the pull. Their presence is not your truth, nor your core. Hold presence where you once attached. Detachment rebuilds what clinging consumes. Let go isn't weakness. 85% of people hold on to past relationships only to feel less present. Cut 16. Reacting to feel alive. You lash out. A sharp word, a clenched fist, a slammed door. You reeked, as if the burst proves you're still here. Pain surges, and you answer with heat, with noise. You think this shows strength. You think responding means you're not broken. But each reaction fuels the fire. The spark doesn't free you, it burns you deeper. The cost is unseen, but heavy. Center phrase. Consumed by a cycle you ignite. You don't see it, but the mind, once steady, shakes. Reacting isn't power, it's surrender. It doesn't claim you, it costs you. You don't prove life, you lose stillness. The more you flare, the less you see. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus didn't soothe, he sliced. Pain is not your signal to act, but to pause. Hold the line, not to fight, but to witness. The mind that waits stays whole. Let the surge pass, unanswered. Don't strike, don't shout. Pause where you once flared. The action is cold. Breathe through the heat. Let it fade. Pain is not your call, nor your truth. Hold consciousness where you once reacted. Non-reaction rebuilds what impulse destroys. You don't have to react. A man grips the phone, ready to type, then sets it down. The room stays quiet. Cut 17. Pleasing to earn your place. You bend. Your words soften. Your needs shrink. Your truth fades. You please, molding yourself to fit their frame. Each gesture, a bid to be kept, to be valued. You think this secures your place. You think their smile proves your worth. But the more you give, the less you are. Pleasing doesn't build, it erases. You shrink, and the pain grows heavier. The cost is silent, but deep. Ground slips, replaced by a need you can't fill. You don't see it, but the mind, once whole, splinters. Pleasing isn't connection, it's loss. It doesn't hold you, it hollows you. You don't gain their care, you lose your own. The more you mold, the less you stand. Your task is to stand, not to be judged. Marcus Aurelius didn't beg, he built. Their approval is not your anchor, nor your truth. Detach from the need to fit. The mind that holds its shape stays free. Let their judgment pass, unclaimed. Don't adjust. Don't shrink. Hold the line where you once bent. The action is cold. Speak your truth, not their want. Their smile is not your value, nor your chain. Breathe through the urge to please. Hold center where you once gave way. Self-command rebuilds what pleasing consumes. You don't owe anything. Seneca refused flattery. I write for myself, he said, not for their applause. Cut 18. Clinging to grief. You hold tight to the sorrow, the ache, the empty space. You cling to grief as if it keeps them near, as if it proves your love. Each memory, a thread you won't cut. You think this honors what was. You think carrying grief shows it mattered. But the tighter you grasp, the more you fade. The weight isn't theirs, it's yours. The cost is unseen, but heavy. Presence dissolves, trapped in a loss you won't release. You don't see it, but the mind, once free, binds itself. Grief isn't loyalty, it's a chain. It doesn't keep them, it consumes you. You don't hold the past, you lose the now. The more you cling, the less you see. What need is there to mourn when you can live? Seneca's words, not a bomb, but a blade. Grief is not your duty, nor your truth. Let go, not to forget, but to breathe. The mind that releases, rebuilds. Let the sorrow pass, unclaimed. Don't cradle, don't dwell. You unhook from the need to mourn. The action is cold. Name the loss, then let it lie. Grief is not your bond, nor your sentence. Breathe through the urge to hold. Hold stillness where you once grieved. Detachment clears what grief consumes. The void is where it clears. A woman sets a photo face down. The room stays still. She walks away. Cut 19. Fearing the emptiness, you shrink back from the quiet, the void, the space where nothing pulls. You fear emptiness, as if it means you're gone, as if it proves you're broken. Each step toward silence feels like falling. You think filling the void keeps you alive. You think noise proves you exist. But the more you flee, the deeper the emptiness grows. The fear doesn't save, it sinks you. The cost is subtle, but deep. Awareness fades, drowned by a hum you create. You don't see it, but the mind, once grounded, drifts. Emptiness isn't loss, it's a mirror. It doesn't erase you, it reveals you. You don't escape the void, you lose your center. The more you fear, the less you see. What you fear, you empower. Epictetus didn't console, he cut. Emptiness is not your end, nor your enemy. Sit with it, not to fill, but to know. The mind that stays finds ground. Let the silence settle, unfeared. Don't run, don't fill. Pause where you once fled. The action is stark. Breathe into the void. Let it be. Emptiness is not your flaw, nor your fate. Hold stillness where you once feared. Presence rebuilds what fear consumes. Stillness is enough. 90% of people avoid silence only to feel more hollow. Cut 20. Seeking their return. You linger at the edge of their absence, waiting for a sign. You seek their return, as if their presence would mend the break. A message, a call, a glance. You think it would close the wound. You think their return would prove you're whole. But each hope pulls you further from the ground you stand on. The weight doesn't heal, it hollows. The cost is unseen, but heavy. Presence fades, tethered to a door that won't open. You don't feel it, but the mind, once free, binds itself. Seeking their return isn't hope. It's a loop. It doesn't restore you. It robs you. You don't gain them. You lose your center. The more you wait, the less you see. Let no one rob you of your own. Seneca's words. Not a plea, but a command. Their return is not your truth, nor your repair. Detach, not to forget, but to stand. The mind that lets go rebuilds. Let their absence be unclaimed. Don't hope, don't wait. Step back from the urge to seek. The action is cold. Turn from the door. Breathe through the pull. Their presence is not your healing, nor your worth. Hold stillness where you once waited. Ground rebuilds. What seeking consumes, you can end without drama. A man closes a chat, deletes the thread. The screen goes dark. He breathes. The phone lies still. Screen dark, untouched. Hands rest on knees. No motion, no sound. The room holds its breath. Only the quiet hum of your own pulse. Stillness, not forced, not sought, just there. A reflex paused, a loop not followed. The urge to check, to speak, to chase, it passed, unclaimed. Not because you won, but because you didn't react. Presence held, where pain once pulled. The silence isn't empty, it's yours. What remains when you don't answer the ache? Silence is a choice heavier than words.